you're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars. I mentioned earlier on, so you're often in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Vivani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Mugello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah. And it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to get it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UkSimracers MX5 Season 1 of 2024. Round out from Mugello. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth here this evening with Stu Rice alongside us here tonight, bringing us, I should say, all the action here as well. Let's bring you up to date with the standing situations at this moment in time. In the pro standings, Pete Newman is out on front. Actually out in front with 519 points here as well. Not too sure why that decided that it didn't want to send the right ones through. There we go. Pete Newman out in front on 519. And we got Tom Griffiths in second on 508. Jamie Ayres in third, tied with Steve Hefford on 502. Miles Owens on 463 with John Sylvester on 457. Tom Bramer on 420 and then Darryl Wright on 394. Ralph Cullen on 390 and Pete Van Gaal on 298. In the AM Championship at this moment in time as well, it is Fiona Siddons out in front here on 429 with Alan Toon in second on 276, 1 point ahead here as well of Colin Sampson. Mick Barry in fourth, Dan Lewis in fifth, Arnold Chonier in sixth, Alan McPherson in seventh with Alexander Longo in eighth and then Andy Littler in ninth. In the team standings, currently at the moment, it is the boys from Sim Racing Sweden out in front here as well, on currently sitting on 1,611 points with Momo in second on 1,562. Results Claven iRacing team on 1,182 with Work Guide by result on 826. Pure Sims on 653, Year 1275, Smart Racing 128, and then Safeguard by result there as well. Just about to go into qualifying here, guys, as well. Just enough time to bring in Stu Rice into the booth. Good evening, Stewart, dear sir. How are you? I'm okay. I'm not bad at all, matey boy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, this should be an interesting one. Mugello's a track I very much like. I haven't quite yet had the pleasure of playing it in the sim, but it is certainly one of my favourite tracks, especially for some of the corner names.
Yes, they're very interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, one of them's Arrabbiata, which, in case anyone didn't know, literally means angry in Italian.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much for that one.
So Angry 1 and Angry 2.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Just hope none of these people drive angry here as well. Thank you so much to David Ayres for joining me. Good evening, ladies. Every time he calls me, every single time he comes in and goes, good evening, ladies. Like, you know, do I even remotely sound like a lady, David Ayres? Do I remotely sound like a lady here as well? We've also got Lisa Wright, who is the wife of Darryl Wright, who has told me to stop telling his wife to beat him up. So, Lisa, can we have no domestic abuse here this evening? Because Darryl is in VR and cannot see your left hand coming here either. So, please stop hitting him, Lisa, you bully. Right, but there you go. And apparently I got the blame for that one there as well, Stu. All right, so we've got a bit of a short grid. We haven't got many cars on track tonight as well, but we have got Mugello. We've got 2:08 lap times here as well currently going on. They've had some practice. They've had about 2 hours of practice. It is a long old racetrack, this one. And I'm hoping that the long racetrack doesn't lead to people spread out quite rapidly, you know what I mean? Because as we know on longer tracks sometimes where people have accidents, they're normally at the back and they're normally at the back for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest part of this will be waiting to see what qualifying laps people put in. If they're all within sort of half a second of each other, excellent. and I think the vast majority of them will be, at least at the top end. I think if they start breaking up and apart and out of the toe, that's where we'll start seeing some problems, because it's a very long straight on this track down the middle.
Definitely is. This long start finish straight. This is where most of the overtakes should take place. Into turn one. David Ayres, you sound a bit moody. Thanks, David. I love you too. Much appreciated there as well. And then Phil, I would hate to see the woman David has been saying, James. Especially, yes, I agree. Especially those that me and Stu are ladies. Maybe too many trips abroad. David, you might want to ease up a little bit on that one there as well. We are in qualifying. They have got long outlaps here as well, but they've got 15 minutes, mind you. It's going to take them about 4.5 minutes to get any laps on the board here because of the length of this circuit with these little MX5s that only got about 180 brake horsepower at the most, and literally are probably not going to go very fast whatsoever here. So although we've got 15 minutes, we're probably only looking at about 6 to 7 laps here per race.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite a long track. We had it with Spa as well, where it was a long track, but Spa produced some excellent racing. I think that's the thing about this track as well. It's reasonably tight. Like, there are points where even a Mazda looks big, which is a difficult feat, and not many tracks can do that. These cars are surprisingly nimble. I think that's the thing. If you push these things right to the ragged edge, they're absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah. I do agree. I think at the end of the day, they are nimble and they have gone through a lot of changes. And I know, especially when the last update on the MX5 come out at it's got to be at least 3 seasons, where basically they changed the way they handled, and they became very, very loose, shall we say. It was like driving on ice for some of these people in this machine because of how loose the car had actually got. And I think now that they're getting to grips with it. I know they say loose is fast, but I always see that. I prefer a car that's a little bit more stable and cemented to the ground, rather than having a car where I'm chasing it around the racetrack here. I think that's the issue for that one. David Ayres, I'm surprised your wife has not even divorced you by now. My wife's not called Scary Mary for nothing. There we go.
I mean, I'm not saying I can particularly comment on anyway, but I'd say the point stands with these Mazdas. They're very, very slippery little cars, which, as I say, though, not a bad thing. Like, at the end of the day, when you really push these things, you can rotate them to a corner fine. If you start getting out of shape, it's quite easy to jam on the brakes and just get the front end back in line. Obviously, past a certain point, you're not going to be able to do much. It's not like a TCR, where you can slam your foot on the brake, lock the front wheels, and just hold it until you're sort of roughly back in the same line.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with these as well. It's interesting to see that going down that long straightaway, they were only topping out at basically about 120 mile an hour. Now, my concern with that is the Clios that we did on Monday. They were at Motorland Aragon, basically as a motorbike goes hurtling past my house. And they literally topped out about 133. So are we saying the little Renault Clios are quicker than the MX5s? Surely that can't be right.
I mean, Aragon, to be fair, has a pretty similar backstraight. But yeah, the Clio Cups, I'm pretty certain, have a slightly higher top speed. Because the power on those things is a little bit terrifying considering how small they are. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the region of just over 200. Somewhere in the region of 200, 220 brake horsepower, I think.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were talking miles an hour then. I was like, they are never going to go 220 miles an hour.
No, but the Clio Cups, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 133, I think they topped out as going down the Motorland Aragon straight there as well. So let's see how these guys get on. We have got Newman out in front at the moment on a 2:08.559 with Griffiths in second, Jamie Ayres, Ralph Cullinan behind that as well. We've still got no times from Darrell Wright, Pete Van Gaal or Steve Hefford at the moment. So no times from them guys out on the race circuit. Alan Toon's into the pits. He did have a little bit of a moment there for Alan Toon, and I think he's probably called it to basically sit there until qualifying, as he normally would do. But let's see how we get on. As I say, bit of a short grid this week. Is that because we think the circuit is a paid circuit?
And potentially, I mean, that's the thing with iRacing in general. Is some circuits are free, some circuits are paid, and it does come down to the fact of whether someone can afford to buy a circuit at the time, or whether you can, like, not many people can buy the entirety of the season at once. That's getting mighty close on track for qualifying. Not the race quite yet. But yeah, it is a point. Like, paid tracks sometimes garner less interest because they're paid, or it might be a slightly less used one in the officials, so people wouldn't necessarily normally have the track. And Mugello's quite new.
Well, it's only come out this season, didn't it, I think?
Yes, and that may also be a factor, people not wanting to buy the track just yet, because it hasn't been used in a great deal of officials at the moment.
Yeah, and to be fair, you're probably like me. If you're like me, I did check my content earlier on. I own literally 2 away from 100 tracks and 5 away from 50 cars, and I don't drive any of them. So, yeah, thank you, iRacing. Yes, for that one.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? I'm pretty sure I did a calculation on how much I've spent on iRacing, and it's too much. I think is the best way to describe that. It's pushing towards 4 figures.
Yes. The thing is, though, with the membership as well, I think mine is definitely well above that at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm above 4 figures, but if 2, maybe 3 at the beginning, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised there as well. Now, I want to break out some good news here. David Ayres has had hassle after hassle with his iRacing account, partly because he went through Steam, which is absolute. But David Ayres has finally got his Steam account back. His iRacing subscription renewed today directly with iRacing. Steam has been binned off. Well, you probably should never have started it then. And looking forward to get back in the Clios next Monday. So we will have David Ayres back in the Clios as well. It's going to be an exciting one coming up next season. If you haven't part of the JPB Discord, you should get to be a part of it, because there is a lot of action and racing coming up, and a lot more as well. So get yourselves involved if you haven't. All links should be down in the description below. And then we get yourselves involved in some of the great action coming up on JPB. Leos, GT4s, TCRs, NASCAR, and an endurance series coming as well. Yeah, stay tuned for that one. But at the moment, with 5 minutes left of qualifying, Pete Loomis still out in front, with Jamie Ayres now in second on a 208.943. Tom Griffiths 209.022, right on a 209.605. Griffiths has got some greens on the board at the moment here as well. You know, he's currently sitting second in the championship here. The returning champion, of course, from the last of the spring seasons. So he's got a lot to prove here, but he's got a lot of action still to have, and I think that's one of the tough things for Griffiths as well, the action that's going to take place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a case of being absolutely on the ball constantly, basically. It's the only way you can really, well, survive in any grid. It's just constant on the ball. To be fair, if they stay all together on this track, there will be quite a lot of battling, and it will be very interesting to see where that goes. Because you could very easily take most corners here if you were being absolutely brave, and I don't know whether it would be brave or stupid. You could probably take a lot of these corners 3 wide. I think it's more leaning towards stupid if you were trying to take 3 wide in most of these corners, but it would be interesting. And interesting to see. A lot of toe as well on these quali laps, which is something that's going to be quite important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the thing that is Tom Griffiths is going to get a hold of here as well, he's going to go back up into second on a 208.862 there. So keep an eye on this one. 3:28 on the clock now as well. This is generally the time when they start dying down. David Ayres, you can justify the cost if you divide the amount spent by the number of hours spent in the sim. It certainly convinced Scary Mary that it's value for money. I would do, but how do you find out how many hours you've spent on iRacing and not in Steam?
A very good question. I'm pretty sure iRacing doesn't tell you.
No.
I mean, I guess you could go back and check all your history of racing and work it out that way, but that's effort. That'll be a huge amount of time. Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day as well, it just depends on how much you actually are on the sim.
Well, for me, it's obviously every night, pretty much.
There you go.
But I'm not every night driving. I'm every night doing generally my lovely broadcasting that I'm doing now as Tom Griffiths takes a trip on travel. But I would be interested to see how many hours you can spend. Even, yeah, this is also true. I agree with you, David, there as well. So if you spend the time in this man cave, it's not under our feet. But if anybody can tell me how I find out how many hours I spent on iRacing, that would be absolutely amazing, because I'd love to know against the cost. But then I'd have to try and find out how much money I spent as well, which could bring me a heart attack, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty certain the only way is for checking through Steam. And I'm pretty sure Steam doesn't even count actual game time.
No, it just gives you the hours, doesn't it? Hours played, is it, or something? It says something like that. But yeah, there we go. But, let's see how this all goes here as well, as we're coming into the last minute and a half. Most of these should park it, as they're not going to get another lap in here unless they're working on something process. So let's see how they all get on. Pete Van Gaal is in the pits. He's sitting 7th with Siddons in Pete Van Gaal in 8th, Siddons in 9th, and Tooney down in 10th there as well. I suppose it's a good escape for you, David Ayres, if you're in the man cave. I think that's the interesting thing. Oh,
yeah.
Jamie Ayres doing his Fast and Furious impressions once more here. Great job. Tell you what, he can literally slide and drift anything. It's awesome to watch when he's going. But there we go, yeah. We've got 4 15-minute heats. Don't forget, we will change sessions after race 2. So after race 2, we will change sessions and we will get set up ready for the next one. So thanks so much for staying with us as Jamie Ayres does more drifting corner there as well. Great job from him. And yeah, should be an interesting evening of racing. Let's just hope some of these people survive till the end, is Stu?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about just making sure you survive and not go wide into the gravel trap there. I think at this point it's just setting into how much fun can you have before quali ends. At this point. But yeah, survival is always the main part of racing in the first place. So it's just a case of keeping clean, basically. That's the important bit.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think but these guys, it is all about just making sure that they're in the right place at the right time, and just being nice when they need to be. I think that that's the aim of the game, isn't it? Really, just to be nice when they need to be. When do they need to be nice, Stu?
I mean, I'd normally say all the time around the track, but then again, if you're in a battle, there's a certain level of you can give only so much before it's like, well, I kind of want this position. And it's a case of if you're alongside, and fair game at that point, as long as you're not pushing each other off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's bring you up the grid. Pete Newman out in front with Tom Griffiths, Jamie Ayres, Darrell Wright, Colin Sanson, Steve Hefford, Ralph Cullinan, Pete Van Gaal, Fiona Siddons, and Sir Alan Toons. So that is the grid for this evening's race. So a bit of a light one here this evening as we get this race up and running once more. Be very, very impressed, and hopefully for these guys it should go rather well. But let's see what happens here once more as these guys are going to battle it out for the win in race 1. The lights are coming on there as well, and then we will be up and running. Now we're going to be green here, and it is going to be Pete Newman who has got off the line first. He's done an absolute stellar job there as well, getting away out in front as he has done, doing an absolutely incredible job on that run down into turn 1. He goes on the defensive. Tom Griffiths on the right. Jamie Ayres is going to come up the middle to number 46 there. We've got the year 1 of Colin Sampson behind him as well. So some great action early days here, Stu.
Yeah, exactly. They're still all side by side. You've got 2 cars right next to each other. We've got Pete Newman still out there in front. Griffiths and Ayres still side by side. just about looks like Ez is going to just about get through, but they're still nose to tail. I mean, it's going to be anyone's race at this point, and it's probably going to stay that way for a good couple of laps, I'd say, before we start seeing who's going to settle in place.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with you there as well. I think we will see some epic action over the next few laps with Tom Griffiths tucked up right behind him as well here. And Tom Griffiths and Jamie Ayres not very far apart once more. We have Colin Sampson in the mix and Steve Hefford there also again. So as we look back from Colin Sampson's car onto Steve Hefford, to great action early doors. They are on that run round Arrabbiata 2, and then we come into Scoperia. Here, the right-hander down into Pelagio, which will be the left-hander now. So we're going round the right, then the left, and then we're going to be coming onto a short, sharp straight, and then up into turn 12, up to Corentale. Hey, that's my best Italian, Stu.
I have no idea how it's pronounced, to be honest, so I would do no better, I'm sure. We're currently just set up with Colin Sampson right now, just currently starting a little bit of a train. It does look like those leaders are starting to pull away just a tiny bit, because Griffiths is a little bit too far back from theirs at the moment, it seems to be trying to get much of a tow, with Ez still getting the tow from ahead. It's going to be an interesting one to try and catch up that one, I think.
I do fully agree here as well, but let's see how strong the draft is going to be here and whether or not these guys are going to be able to make it through. Jamie Ayres there is getting a push over Pete Newman. We can see it on board with Tom Griffiths here as well. Jamie Ayres making that move into P1. He is going to make it through here, Stu. That's going to be a good jump for Jamie Ayres. And Pete Newman's looking at coming back up the inside. You've got to run it around the outside. Is Jamie Ayres going to find a grip here? That's going to be the question. And once more, he goes and sends it up into turn 2. He does make it here as well. Great running from Jamie Ayres.
I'm not entirely sure whether Pete Newman's going to take that one lying down, because I don't think he's the sort of person to give up once someone's got past him. And he's already trying to make a fight back, I think. It's just when he can get the nose in front. I think that's the important bit. It's a case of, will Jamie Ayres even let him back past, I think is the main question. I mean, right now, it doesn't look like he's intending to, that's for certain.
Yeah, I don't think he will, though. I don't think he's willing to allow him to come back through. So that could be very, very interesting to see if he is going to be able to get through on this side as well. But I think overall it's been some nice clean racing so far as well. Looks like Pete Van Gaal is the only man who's possibly had a little bit of an incident here as well and has dropped all the way back down into 10th place. Now for Pete Van Gaal, it's whether or not he's loving this circuit. Didn't have a great qualifying here either though as well, Stu. So maybe he's not quite loving it as much as we hope Pete Van Gaal would.
No, exactly. It doesn't look like he's doing particularly as well as he probably could or probably wants to be either. It certainly doesn't look like he's enjoying the circuit that much. However, he might be at this point, but judging by past results, I don't think he'll be enjoying it that much at the moment. And to be fair, Mugello is one of those tracks that is, you either love it or hate it, as there's a bit of a mistake from Jamie Ayres, which allows Pete Newman straight back through onto the straight. And on the downside, though, as David Ayres was saying in chat, they use the draft on the long straight. That is correct, and that is going to give Jamie Ayres the draft down towards the first corner.
Can Jamie Ayres make it here as well? He's going to have that run on the way down. He's looking for the inside line if he can get it. Pete Newman gives it up to him here as well. He kind of just let Jamie Ayres have it, and away he goes now. Pete Newman has got back through, of course. He defended stoutly there, Stu, and did a great job from him.
Exactly, just going wide, because in the event that Jamie Ayres did get through, there was the opportunity for a cutback as well. And I think maybe that mistake from Jamie Ayres might have put a little bit too much heat in his tyres, but he's probably not going to lose too much grip from that. As in the background, we've got some side-by-side action going on. I believe that's Hefford. A little bit of a battle back here. Ralph Cullinan.
Yeah, Hefford and Steve Cullinan having a little bit of a ding-dong. Great for them to see here as well as they continue to do the more
Pete
epic
Newman's
racing.
just dropped right off, James.
Oh, Pete Newman has had a moment. Did he hit a curb here, or did he just lose the back end of that MX5? Oh, onto the gravel.
Whoa. that's a nasty hit. Thankfully, fairly side on. Oh, good job on everyone for getting around that. That's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely there as well. Great job from all of these guys, and very impressed once more by that racing. Unfortunately for Pete Newman, he's back in the pits. The race looks like it's going to be done. For the action here, Darrell Wright, Ralph Cullinan and Steve Hefford going to be scrapping it out once more here, and hopefully these guys will get through and hopefully do the rest of this race cleanly.
Yeah, exactly. And currently it's looking that way because there was no contact up the front either. So Newman's incident was very much just a little bit of running too wide, which in the grand scheme of things obviously not great for Newman, but obviously shows that there's no contact going on there. So that's also excellent. And it's sort of all starting to gap apart just a tiny bit. Only Cullinan's really close to someone on the track, and that's a big shake-up with Jamie Ayres dropping down.
Yeah, nobody wants to hold the lead of this race at the moment, as Jamie Ayres now was out in front.
Wide.
Yeah, too much power, trying to hold the car, can't hold it. But unfortunately,
well saved, though.
Yeah, he just still went round though. But that does leave Steve Hefford and Ralph Cullinan fighting it out down a long straightaway. But it is going to put Tom Griffiths now out in front with Colin Sanson behind him. So a bit of a shock for Tom Griffiths to be up the front there.
No, absolutely. I'm sure I'll be loving being right up there, regardless of whether a driver's made a mistake and you gain positions off it. I'm sure any driver will just go, well, 3 positions. And that is the case with a lot of racing. You just gain 3 positions by just being in the right place at the right time. And Tom Griffiths certainly has done that, as we're currently really close on track as well. 3 cars right next to each other, all at the same time. Steve Hefford leading the group on that one. Currently on board with Darrell Wright just behind. And it will be interesting to see when they can really get an opportunity to make a move and catch up the 2 in front of them as well.
Yeah. I do fully agree, but it's whether or not they're going to be able to work together, as Tom Griffiths looks like he's just made a mistake and has lost a place to Colin Sanson here as well. Got a funny feeling Griffiths has just got to slow down. Sanson said, thank you very much, I'll have some of that. And Colin Sampson, now the AM is in front. These groups slowly getting back together here as well. Through Pelagio onto the run, down into turn 12, and Darrell Wright has gone round. On board with Darrell at the time of that incident as well. It doesn't look like many people are trying to get to the end of the race here.
No, I think all that happened there with Darrell Wright was he just clipped the sausage curve just a tiny bit too much, and that will unsettle any car, let alone a Mazda. These things do like to unsettle themselves on a stone. Like, you don't need to hit a curb for these things to unsettle themselves. Just thinking about it wrong will do that. Yeah, currently still very, very close on track. Steve Hefford just currently in front of Cullinan, and just trying to catch up. It'll be interesting to see, to be fair, whether they stay like this till the end of the race. And interestingly, David Ayres in chat might be worth just sitting in second until the final lap. It's not a bad observation, to be fair.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think at the end of the day, it seems to be that second seems to be better than first as well, with Tom Griffiths trying to make a move for the lead here. Him and Colin Sampson side by side on that run now into turn 2. Through Luco they go. Tom Griffiths does take the lead through Poggio Secca here as well, or turn 3 if you don't want to hear me trying to do Italian. But these two still battling it out with Pete Van Gaal further down as well. He's having a little bit of a ding-dong with our very own 70-year young Sir Alan Toon, who's just about to spin. What
a little
is
bit of contact?
Yeah, there as well between the 2 of them. So Steve Hefford now fighting it out. He's got Ralph Cullinan behind him, the Irishman, putting on a show this week. Great action from him.
Absolutely, and staying right on the tail of Steve Hefford at the moment. Fiona Siddons just losing the place to Darrell Wright further back. I'm not sure whether that was just an overtake or potentially a slight mistake. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like an overtake in the corner.
Yeah.
So they're currently battling it out. It does seem like it's sort of a little battle of groups at this point, which is interesting, to be fair. And it does make sense, given the tow. Yeah,
it definitely does. We've got 1 and 2 close together, that close together. Then we've got Steve Hefford and Ralph Cullinan. Darrell Wright, Fiona Siddons, Alan Toon and Pete Van Gaal. Not wishing to appear rude, says David Ayres, but you started that day. Jumped into the broadcast and called me a lady. here as well. But to see the likes of Pete and Jamie make mistakes, it shows that they're human, gives the rest of us a little hope. Yeah, I do agree. When you see drivers like Pete make, then you definitely know that they are human. And one man that we don't like seeing making mistakes is this man, Mr. Alan Toon. But I got a funny feeling there as well. All on his own. Hold it. Oh, he held it. But he did jump back to the pit lane. What about Ralph Cullen and Pete and Steve Hubbard? Is they're on their way down now. Lap 6. We're going to have about one more here as well. As you can see, Sampson and Griffiths going at it here. Cullen and Hefford. How is this one going to finish here, Stu? It's going to be some interesting racing.
It will, and I have a feeling we might see a 4-car battle for the lead by the end of this race because they're getting closer and closer. And I personally think Hefford and Cullinan are working together. It would make sense given how they're just slowly catching up to the cars in front, which means as much as Griffiths may feel Sansom's his only option here, and there we go, Cullinan making the move. That was a slight mistake by Hefford there, and through goes Cullinan, just about making the move stick. That was really nicely done, to be fair. But as I was saying, they're working together, aside from when drivers make mistakes, in which case, easy position, and then they just work together the other way around.
But I think these two have got to work together to try and move up onto the front two. They've got a second gap at the moment. They're only going to have this one and one more to contend with in the form of race laps. So I think they're going to have to try and push it through. I think we just might touch 7 laps here at a push. But let's see how it all unfolds. We've got 2 minutes 50 on the clock. We're coming up into Scarperia before we go down into Pelagio here on the left-hander. There you go. The gap's now down to about 7 tenths at the moment, Stu. So Ralph Cullinan's on a little bit of a flyer.
He is, and that will be within the toe as well, which means on the back straight and into the main straight, that's going to give him quite a decent advantage. But I don't think he's quite close enough to Sansom to make that really work as a whole. I mean, I could be wrong. I like being proven wrong because it generally means that drivers are outperforming, which would be absolutely lovely. But I think the fact is Sansom is very, very close to Griffiths, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a move for the lead by the actual start-finish straight down towards the first corner. But that is exactly what we're about to find out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin Sampson's closing in. Ralph Cullinan's closing in. The gaps are dropping here as well. Sampson's down to 2 tenths. Is he 1 tenth, 1.5? Is he going to look at making the move? Griffiths hugs the inside line there as well. Now Sampson pulls out. If he's going to make turn 1, he's got to send it in deep and hope it sticks almost. He does get the job done before they've even got down into turn 1. Griffiths is looking at coming back through. Not going to make it through. He's going to unsettle himself coming out of turn 1 as well. Now Ralph Cullinan coming through. Almost 3 wide. Sampson holding on. Griffiths is all out of shape there. Ralph Cullinan's got a great opportunity to try and get through here as they go off round turn 3 and then down into Matarazzi into turn 4 here as well. Griffiths still on that inside. He's going to have the inside for this time around. What about Steve Hefford? How is he going to get involved? And are we going to see Colin Sampson, the AM, take a win here?
I would like to hope so, but currently it's a 4-car battle for the lead. As incidentally, I predicted a few laps back that we might see a 4-car battle for the lead by the final lap. And to be fair, I think it's anyone's race at this point. They're so close together that all they'd need is a good run out the final corner and the toe, and they've got a potential chance just to overtake on the line. Sansom, with these 3 battling, I think has a pretty good chance of taking the win, bar any mistakes, if there are any, which I doubt.
Well, he's got a 7-tenth gap, and he's only got literally 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 50 go here. Not got many. Oh, don't make a mistake now. Oh, no. He did make a mistake. Oh. And that's going to bring everybody into play. Is Colin Sampson going to hold on? Griffiths is checked up here as well. Now they're going off down into Biondetta. Turn 1, then into Biondetta 2 here. Is Colin Sampson going to be holding on? Throw it in the opposite direction. Block till your heart's content, dear sir. As he's going to get a run coming round the final corner. He's left the door wide open. Oh, no. Griffith is going to say thank you very much. Oh, Colin Sampson.
God, sir.
Should have defended that inside, and he
still
didn't.
Got it.
He's now going to come out of this turn. He's going to be on the run down to the line. Is it going to be Sampson? It looks like it's going to be Sampson. What about Griffiths? Here comes Cullinan in the side team. Who's going to get this one? It is going to be Colin Sampson just. The AM has won the overall Colin Sampson taking the victory on the line, 3 wide going over the line. Absolutely insanely impressive from Colin Sampson there. Great job from him. Did manage to get it over the line, and let's have another look at that one as well, because it was very, very close. They come off this final corner, and then it's all about who's going to get the run. Sampson's got it, and at the moment, then Griffiths takes it here as well. But now look at this. This is mightily impressive how close these cars exactly are, because now comes Ralph Cullinan. He's going to pull out on us once again here, making that move. Cullinan on the right-hand side. There is Sampson. Cullinan is coming. The line's going to be coming up very, very shortly. They're going down the grid there as well. Griffiths tries to suck in the side draft. Just about near enough, almost has it. But there's Cullinan as well. Is he going to be able to get this over the line? It is going to be Colin Sampson. And he did it by not a lot there as well. Not a lot for Colin Sampson, but he managed to hold on there. That is the major advantage of that one, and some great action there as well. So well done to Colin Sampson. I'm hoping he's going backwards on his own here, and that's not my computer going a little bit wrong. Right, let's bring you up at the results here for race 1. Colin Sampson is your winner by 0.008 of a second. Tom Griffiths in second by 0.008. Ralph Cullinan in third, 0.029. And Steve Pefford half a second back from that. Then you got Jamie Ayres, Darrell Wright, Fiona Siddons, Pete Newman, Pete Bangle, and Sir Alan. Great action here as well. We got a bit of a 5-minute warm-up. So thank you so much for joining us. Gives us enough time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bells. Got a lot more racing coming up this week on JPB as well. So stay tuned for this one. It's going to be even more exciting than it already is this week, too. And it's a lot of racing coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And interestingly, I had the timing screen open as they crossed the line. I think the timing tower might be slightly behind on times, because the actual timing finish on that was 0.001 to second, 0.003 to third.
Yeah,
so they finished the line about 4 thousandths apart.
Yeah, I think it shows who basically has crossed the line. Not quite sure why the schedule's there at the moment. I can't really answer that question. Quite sure why the schedule is appearing on the side of your... But that is the JPB schedule this week, as Tuesday MX5. Tomorrow we've got JPB Tours round 7 from Long Beach. Thursdays you've got a triple bill of TSRC's GT round 2 from Kalami on ACC. On Thursday it's 8:30 Evolution round 6 from Suzuka. And then again on Thursday at 10 to 9 it's the Radical Race Series round 8 from Spring. And then if you're a bit of a night owl, at 1:50 in the morning on Friday morning, it's the Triple Bypass Xfinity round 4 from Richmond. That will give it up idea what's coming up until Friday, as there's still more taking place after that one as well. But Stu, to be honest, considering we've only got sort of 10 cars on track, still great action from these guys.
No, absolutely, and absolutely fair play to them, because it is not easy to make a grid that has a lot of good racing with that small amount of cars for a week, which, again, like, that is not a non-compliment. That is me complimenting this, because I'm pretty sure this group is probably one of the few that could make that work. Like, they've had absolutely fantastic racing. All of them has put some seriously good racing in that time. And to be fair, it was top quality as well. It doesn't matter where about on the field they were. It was still really good quality racing.
I do agree.
Fair play to all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely there as well. 2 minutes left of warm-up before we go into... Don't forget, we have 3 and 4 coming up for you. We'll take a break after race 2 to do time here. Ralph Cullinan won't want to spill the whiskey in the glass on his dash. Yes. On that one. Leave it out, or he sat over a pint of Guinness. No, Ralph as well. So either one of them probably sat on Ralph Cullinan's sim rig on the desk right next to it. So there we go. Good old Ralph Cullinan here as well. But thank you so much for joining us, everyone. If you are here, please say hi. We do respond to you. I know that some people don't, but so there we go. Shadow Fox. Ooh. Well, if it's anything like race 1, mate, considering they've just gone over the line 0.03 of a second between 1, 2 and 3, I'm hoping it should be a good one here as well. Mike is cutting an outer touch. Is that me or Stu?
Yeah, so that can be a problem with Mike sometimes. So if it is, thank you for giving the heads up. Because if that's me, I will have a look. We will find out momentarily once Shadow Fox.
Yeah, I'll find out when Shadow tells me who it actually is here as well. So that would be ideal. You.
Might be me.
Well, who's you,
okay, well,
Shadow?
Hang on. I'm going to unplug my mic.
Me or Stewart? That's the question. Yes, sir.
Oh, hang on a minute.
It could be me. We don't know.
It could be me. It might be me.
It could be me. There's a kid. James, your mic is cutting in and out. Stewart is fine. Oh, rude. I think I resolved the issue. I think my noise gate in OBS was a little bit higher than it should have been. So I'm hoping you can hear me adequately now as well. Shadow, low, not Stewart. Thanks, Shadow. Much appreciated. There as well. Right, let's get ready to bring you up the grid for race 2 here as well this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully my mic is better now. Beautiful, says Shadow there, and is going to be Sir Alan Toon on pole with Pete Van Gaal in second, Pete Newman third, Fiona Siddons fourth, Darrell Wright fifth, Jamie Ayres sixth, Steve Evans seventh, Ralph Cullinan eighth, Tom Griffiths and Colin Sampson. Full reverse grid for all of these guys, and Sir Alan Toon on pole position here for the AMS. Poor Alan Toon, shall we say. It's quite scary for Al being on pole position.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought I was scared back at what was it? Where was it? It was Interlagos at the GT4s last season. I thought I was this season. I was scared getting reverse grid pole. Can't imagine how that must be for him in these cars because they are loose. The GT4s not so much, and I can absolutely attest to how terrifying cars can be when you're on reverse grid pole.
Yeah, I do fully agree with you there as well. Tooney probably as well. Good afternoon, lads, says Al Nasir. At least he called us he's a man this time, David Ayres, unlike yourself who calls us ladies. That seems better. Reminds me of Norman Collier. Like you're expecting me to know who that is. Right, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're going to be green, green, green. PVG has not gone anywhere. He did not even move, remotely move there as well. So Alan Toon out in front at this Mugello circuit as these guys come down into turn 1. Who's going to get there first? I've got a funny feeling it's going to be Pete Newman, Fiona Siddons sitting in 3rd place there. Jamie Ayres behind her with Darrell Wright on the inside. Steve Hefford with a big old send there as well. Tooney runs around the outside. Siddons going to go up the middle. Darrell Wright there as well. Everyone got away cleanly, but Pete Van Gaal didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, there goes wide, Mr. Toon. That is not what I'd like to see. But then again, very easy to do it, but it's not easy to actually get it right. But they're all still right next to each other. Hopefully, Sir Alan Toon can get back into the pack. That would be nice to see. We've currently got a side-by-side battle between Griffiths and Siddons. And that was just about onto the grass, but still managed to save that. Still close as anything.
Yeah. Pete Newman out in front and leading by nearly 2 seconds. Tom Griffiths setting after him with Steve Hefford and Fiona Siddons. Ayres, Wright, Cullinan, Sampson, Van Gaal and Toon here. You can see the gap across the whole field. Literally 4.7 seconds from first to last. As it looks like Ralph Cullinan has had a little bit of an issue and's got off the side of the circuit as well. Colin Sampson making his way back through the field. He's now sitting in 5th place overall, up 5 places once more, with Jamie Ayres next on his hit list as Steve Hefford is chasing down Tom Griffiths here.
Yeah, exactly. Just got to make it stick. Just to be fair, the only tip I give in this situation is just don't actually try and push for it. You've still got an entire on just about 13 minutes left of the race. There's plenty of time. There's no point in trying to push early on if you can just hold fire and just pull away from the group back. And to be fair, the group back's having some properly close fighting right now, as soon to drop right off again, I think.
Yeah, he didn't make.
He's dropped a position. I don't think he's made a mistake, but certainly something pinged on the timing there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he's going to be closing down and trying to close down on the Irishman, Darrell Wright and Colin Sampson. Sampson's got great pace here this evening, and I wouldn't put it past him to catch these front four and possibly look at overtaking them as Pete Newman and Tom Griffiths. Griffiths has got the overtake done this time. Steve Hefford's going to send it in nice and deep there as well. Get the back end of that car sliding. Did Colin Sanson make it through over Darrell Wright? He did. Wright is now alongside PVG as PVG tries to make the move round the outside now as well. Through Luco, down Pogliasecco, and then we're going to be coming into Matarazzi in turn 4 here once again. It looks like Sir Alan Toon. I'm not entirely sure what you've done, but I'm hoping you haven't done it on a straightaway, Al, because it's never good.
Please don't do it on the straightaway.
No, it just breaks. He obviously
he's
got some
locked up the rears.
Yeah, I think he's got some form of issue there. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that is. But Steve Hefford now with Newman battling him out. Griffiths is trying to get away there. Ayres is trying to close him up. Then we've got this pack of Ralph Cullen and PVG.
Oh no!
Doing wonderful pirouettes there as well, ballerina style for PVG, as Siddons is now battling away with Cullenham.
Yeah, exactly, and he's just got to make the steer because he's putting his nose up the inside there. That's going to be very, very close. Siddons just about still holds on, and that was, I don't know whether that was just a mistake or whether Cullenham just underestimated. Siddons might slow down a little bit through the corner, but that is perfectly calculated, and straight through goes Cullenham.
Yeah, he does. He goes through on Siddons there as well. Ralph Cullenham making it through once more. We've got Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, Steve Hefford and Tom Griffiths, your front four. The battle of the big boys here as well. And let's see what happens once more as these guys are going on to this long straightaway, Stu.
Yeah, exactly. They're all going to be side by side potentially by the end of it, which will be interesting to see who can make that count. Currently Griffiths in the lead, closely followed by Newman, who's very likely to move out of the toe. There it is, taking that position onto the outside of the first corner, which arguably is a good position to be overtaking in. Is he going to send it 3 wide? That looks very much like Hefford trying to go for the 3 wide into the first corner. And what a move! Down the inside, still side by side though, Hefford and Newman. It's going to be neck and neck coming into the next corner. They're still going to be side by side. Newman making that absolutely stick, and I'm not too sure. Oh, he's going to be ahead. He's not. Hefford still side by side. This is some proper racing as Griffiths now decides to go, you know what, I'm going to take that line as well. And he's alongside Newman just about, but Newman makes that stick. And Newman takes the lead after a frantic few corners.
Yeah, Griffiths side by side. Steve still with Steve Hefford now as well into Casanova Savelli here, which is the right and left of this track at Mugello, and Griffiths is holding on, but Ayres is there. Hefford's still there as well. Looks like we've lost Alan Toon, but Cullenham's opening up a bit of a gap further down. So it is these top 3 who are battling it out here for control of this second podium spot. Once again, as Pete Newman does try and open up a gap here as well. Going to be tough for Pete Newman to get away though, Stu, and I got a funny feeling he might struggle here as the race goes on.
Yeah, exactly. The toe here on the main straight does seem reasonably strong, and to be fair, the toe in these Masters is strong anyway. You'll find a strong toe even at Road Atlanta in these, as they're coming down through into the final section of the track. That right, left, right, just before the final hairpin. They're all still neck and neck. I mean, to be fair, given we've got somewhere in the region of about 8 minutes left, it's still incredibly close, and this is exactly the sort of racing I was hoping to see at a circuit such as Mugello. But now we come onto the main straight just behind Ayres, trying to make a look down the inside of Hefford, not quite managing to make that stick. As we come round the final corner, it's basically anyone's race at this point, I think.
Yeah, I do fully agree as well. 8:26 on the clock. They're going to get about 4 laps. It's about a 7-lap evening of racing. In the background though, I've got the sniper, the elite of Colin Sampson, who took the overall victory in race 1. He's coming through to try and catch up with these guys as well. Tom Griffiths now going to make the move alongside Pete Newman. Then you've got Pete Newman on the outside. Steve Hefford, this is what he's looking at here as well, as he's side by side once again with Jamie Ayres. He takes that position back. It's 2 by 2 as these guys continue to fight. Colin Sampson continues to get involved here, as it looks like he is making great strides now for Pete Newman. Into Matarazzi we go for turn 4. Now the right-hander of San Lorenzo in turn 5, before we go on that run down to Casanova Savelli, the right and left here, turn 6 and 7 of Mugello.
Exactly, and heading down towards the angry corners. Hopefully none of them are angry at the moment. As you come round here, they were bunched up quite considerably. Now they've all backed up, but here comes Ayres just trying to potentially try and make a move. And to be honest, it's very difficult to tell who's going to make a move between that top 5 right now, because it is absolutely close as anything. And to be fair, all this is really doing is bringing the cars behind back into play. So Cullinan and Wright are also starting to catch up just a little bit.
Yeah, they're about 1.4 seconds back at the moment. They were a little bit further back there as well. But he's closing in as the guys up the front keep fighting here as well. As Buccini now the final going to be coming down into turn 15. But first we've got to tackle Biondetta 1 and Biondetta 2 before we go into Buccini down in turn 15. Let's see what happens. Griffiths now makes the move. Colin Sampson's got past Steve Hefford there. Once again, he's moved up into P4, up 6 places all the way here. And Colin Sampson seems to be having a great evening of racing.
Absolutely, it's side by side. Newman's overtaking Griffiths, with Ayres just trying to follow through, but he's potentially just going to try and make that 3 wide, which may actually come to his benefit, because that is going to give him a beneficial line over Griffiths, who is now dropped to 3rd on the line, but it's going to be very, very close into the first corner. Ayres making the move, but Newman is not going to want to let Griffiths hold that 2nd position. I'm not sure it's much of a choice. What a dive down the inside that was by Newman to try and take that position. I don't think he's quite held it, but what a move.
Yeah, there as well. Great action here materialising. We're going to have these front 7 near enough bunched up as they're coming over with 2 laps remaining. You see in the background Wright and Cullinan trying to make that move forward. Now Jamie Ayres is trying to make the move as well. He's trying to escape here, Stu. I think that's the thing for Jamie Ayres. He's trying to get away currently at the moment as well, isn't he? He's trying to escape this one.
He's trying to escape, but I'm not too sure how easy that is going to be for him to escape. It's like driving a car around a circuit with a massive bungee cord attached to it with these cars, given the tow. You're very, very unlikely to get away, short of the other cars battling so hard that they slow down. And I think, to be fair, they're not battling hard enough just yet to really slow themselves down. And I think there's quite a lot of teamwork going on here, which is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're all trying to get away, but the problem is they're not really making progress going forward. But more of the fact that they're making progress fighting with each other. Therefore, everybody else is closing up. You know, these front 7 are not very far apart here. So for these guys, there's there's a lot to contend with. So hopefully they should be able to make it to the end as we're on lap 5. They've got 2 laps remaining here, Stu. Who's going to take the victory here?
I think it's basically impossible to call from the top 7, to be fair, because they're all so close together. All it really takes is either one mistake or one good move or one well thought out corner, and you've effectively got an entire line. But here we go on to the main straight, and it's vast majority of them are now in the tow. I mean, I doubt we're going to see anything silly like 4 wide, but Newman's certainly got a chance to take Griffiths into the first corner, that's for certain.
Yeah, he definitely has it. The trouble is that long run down into turn 1, isn't it? That's going to be the problem. But they're all going to be bunched up at the moment here as well. Griffiths goes to dive for the inside line. Is he going to be able to make it through? It looks like he's almost making it through over Jamie Ayres. Newman settling in behind him. Colin Sampson's come in, and Sampson's got great pace here this evening as well. Just behind that is Steve Hefford, Darrell Wright and Ralph Cullinan. So still action taking place here from these guys. The top 2, 4, 6, 7, not very far apart indeed. can tell you how far apart they actually are. They are literally 2.16 seconds apart here, which isn't a lot for these guys as well.
No, exactly. And the top four, basically all within touching distance of each other's rear bumper at this point. Top five now, sorry, because that's getting incredibly close as well. And all it takes is just, as I say, one mistake, or Pete Newman trying to go for the inside line. There might have been a tiny bit of contact there. And by tiny, I do mean tiny, as Newman's now going to try and get alongside. Not quite make it work, but... Ooh, that was... There's having a little bit of a moment going towards the gravel there. That was somewhat close, but... Coming round here, so, oh my word, that's 4 or 5 cars all in the same part of the track coming down towards Correntau. Oh my word. I mean, to be fair, I thought Spa was close. This is even closer for such a, well, it's a smaller track. Or it feels it, that's for certain. I don't think it's much smaller than Spa.
No, I'd probably say width-wise, it's a little bit short, like a little bit tighter. But Pete Newman's still trying to make that move here as well. He's trying to have a go in the final corner. You have got that long old straight, so if Tom Griffiths doesn't fight this very much, I would not be surprised, to be honest, because he's got a straight to come back at him with.
Well, exactly. At that point, if someone's trying to go through, I'd be like, yep, sure, have it. I have got the toe. I could just easily catch up again. Then again, Pete Newman's proven that he can absolutely block like an absolute master. So it's a case of just trying to figure out where to block and when to not, and I think Pete Newman will probably try to stick to his guns and take that inside line whilst getting a little bit of a bump draft from Griffiths.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to be trying to Colin Sampson to make his way forward. I don't see any reason why he can't wrap up 2 out of 2 here. He's got the first winner already, and there's no reason why he can't as well, as he sits in 4th place at the moment with Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, Tom Griffiths and Colin Sampson. Your top 4 still fighting out to go on the run down into turn 5.
Yeah, exactly. Still side by side. Newman just potentially trying to snap out into the clean air there, but just not making it work. And Newman trying to go for that inside line again. It's getting very, very close. I think what Newman's probably trying to do here is just sound out, okay, where can I possibly make this move work? Because they're only about half around the lap, just going through Borgo San Lorenzo and coming down towards Casanova and Savelli. These 2 corners are not the easiest to get right as well. So it's very much a game of place the car exactly where you want it. And just sort of, well, with these Mazdas, it's always hope that it stays where it wants to be, because you've very much got to be light on the throttle through the corners. Whoa, that was Samson going very wide out of the corner there. I mean, it does happen. Dirty air in these is still a thing. And there's Newman potentially trying to put his nose down the inside. And that was incredibly close. Yeah, I think Newman is probably now trying to make that move and trying to find any potential point to put his car. And there we go, trying again. But yeah, I think Newman's just trying to sort of sniff around at the moment, try and find exactly where he can put his car. I don't know when he'd want to make his move, though. It's very difficult to tell.
Well, where would you do it? Where would you make the move?
First corner. This track has such a long straight that, I mean,
They're not going to try it, are they? Because this is the final lap of the race.
Exactly, which is a shame. And they're coming round onto the start-finish line now. And I think Pete Newman was just effectively trying to find any way through there.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure it kind of worked.
Yeah, Jamie Ayres looks like he's going to take this victory again here with Griffiths in 3rd, Newman 2nd, Sampson 4th, then Steve Pepper, Darrell Wright and Ralph Cullen. And then we're going to wait for Fiona Siddons to come over the line here again as well. So some great action racing still taking place here. And as we wait for Fiona Siddons, the last one to come over the line. So great racing from everybody again. We will bring you up the results of this race. And they are as follows. Jamie Ayres in 1st, Pete Newman 2nd, Tom Griffiths 1st, Colin Sampson in 4th, Steve Hefford in 5th, Darrell Wright 6th, Ralph Cullen in 7th, Fiona Siddons 8th, Pete Van Gool 9th, and Sir Alan Toon in 10th. Right, guys, we're going to pop for a short break as we change over sessions now as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you after this short break. Okay, guys, welcome back here as well to the UkSimracers race 3, I should say, this evening from Mugello. I am James Parfitt, still in the booth with Stewart Rice there as well. Sorry, Stewart, I forgot your name then. I was at a complete and utter brain fart moment.
All good. No, that's the thing. I mean, to be fair, I think it's just part of Mugello, maybe. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting third race, that's for certain. I mean, to be fair, both the first and second races have all finished fairly close. So it will be interesting to see if we carry that on into the third race.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they do have that close racing going into the third race as well. Otherwise, it's just very difficult here as well. So, let's hope and let's see how we get on. We should be advancing the session, I would have thought, very shortly as well. So let's see how they get on here once more. David and Craig Jones here as well. James and cool in the same sentence. I think James thinks he's cool with the music. I am cool. Stop it. So there you go. Yeah, I'm hoping Scary Mary comes and beats you up. He reminds me of that dodgy uncle most families have, says David Ayres. Thank you very much for that one. David here as well. Just abuse James clearly in YouTube chat, Stu.
It does seem that way.
It's
an interesting one. I mean, to be fair, when David Ayres says that dodgy uncle most families have, most families do have that one uncle who, to be fair, you can either call him dodgy or you can call him interesting. Depends on the angle you're coming from. That's probably the way I could explain the dodgy uncle in any family. Some people will like him, some people won't. And I'm not referencing that against you, by the way, James. I'm just very specifically stating on that sort of most families quote from David. Yeah,
most families have that dodgy uncle. Like every program I watch has a dodgy uncle. Like I watch Back to the Future, and there's an uncle in there as well who's behind jail, behind bars, I should say. Then I watched. Yeah, there is in Back to the Future. It's Uncle.
Oh God, Uncle Joey.
Uncle Joey, little baby Joey. I think it's in behind
Joey
bars.
Baines. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then in the Big Bang Theory, there's the uncle there as well, or is it Penny's brother? It might be Penny's brother who's in jail. So yeah, there's a lot of people in programs that are in jail, unfortunately, here as well. But let's see what goes on once more with these guys as they're battling out, just waiting for hopefully an advancement of the session there as well before we kick into this next race. Craig Jones, I am not a homeless school teacher. Thank you very much. There as well. Thank you, Craig. Much appreciated for that one, on that one. So, yes, great job from Craig Jones there as well.
But I'd say the Del Boy fashion isn't too bad.
That's only because I've got a big, thick, fluffy coat like Del Boy had.
Yeah.
That keeps me
warm.
warm.
To be fair, the whole outfit on Del Boy is not actually that bad. Probably wouldn't look too out of place these days, given how outfits are going.
Yeah, considering how open, everybody's dress code is. I'm sure it probably wouldn't look out of place. And I'd rock it anyway. I think I'd look good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so as well. So there we go. Right, 4 minutes of practice remaining. I thought they might have advanced it as everybody's into the session. But let's hope and see that we'll see if it does get advanced soon. And then we can get up and running for race 2. Jamie's personality is more like Trigger, says Craig Jones.
I still say Trigger's my favourite character in the entirety of Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, I'd like to point out as well, this is coming from the man who thinks he's Jason Statham because of the way he looks. You know what I mean?
You know what? I can see that.
Oh, don't! Jesus Christ! Don't give him any more good. It might be Jason Statham in the face, but he's built like Twiggy. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? It's definitely not Jason Statham in the body mass. So I think I've seen more fat on a chip than there is on Craig Jones. So there we go. And David Ayres, you do not need to treat me to a mirror. My wife has enough of them. Thank you very much. bit rude. So there we go. Right, are we gonna advance, gentlemen? Let's get this up and running so we can get race 3 going here as well. And then we can get tonight's racing. There's Darrell Wright's parked on the side of the circuit with Tom Griffiths in the mix here as well. So, yeah. Well, we've seen some great... Oh, my computer does something very bizarre there. We've seen some great racing between all of these guys as well. It's been an interesting couple of races as the session has advanced. And we will be up and running for race 3.
I think they heard your request, James.
I think they did here as well. Right, let's bring you up the grid for race 3. Darrell Wright will be on pole, and Pete Van Gaal, Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, Ralph Cullen and Colin Sampson, Fiona Siddons, Sir Alan Toon, Steve Pepford and Tom Griffiths. There with Tom Griffiths at the back of this field. But Darrell Wright sitting on pole position here for the first time, and let's see how he gets on. Will he make it away at the beginning of this race, or will he not? That is going to be the question. Lights are coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are green with Darrell Wright making away at the start. PBG right next to him, then Jamie Ayres and Pete Newman back tucked up further behind at this point as well, as they go running down into turn 1 once more here. Some great action from all of these guys. Down into the right hander we go. Who's going to make it through? Is it going to be 3 wide? Is it going to be Darrell Wright out the other side? Is it going to be PBG? No, it's Pete Newman. Pete Newman sweeps around the outside there, Stu, and a great job from that.
No, exactly. We're all still side by side. Newman's not quite out of the woods yet, as neither is either Wright or Ayres, who are still side by side. There's some smoke in the background. I'm not sure what that was, but that looked like a car off just behind, but they're still neck and neck up at the front. Ayres trying to make the move on Wright, not quite going to be able to make that work. But currently, I think it's just a case of cars trying to sit in behind each other and see where they're going to come out after the first lap.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the best thing at the moment. Darrell Wright trying to hold on from Jamie Ayres. Ayres has just gone up the inside as they come through Casanova Savelli here now through the right-hander of Arrabbiata 1 before they go into Arrabbiata 2. Ayres trying to go up the inside, not making it through. PBG still there. And the man that's been the driver of the evening for me so far, the arm of Colin Sampson's doing a great job at the moment.
No, absolutely. And whether that's the track and car combo or he just particularly likes the Mazda, it will be interesting to see if he can replicate those first race positions. As currently ahead, you've got Van Gaal, Ayres and Wright all battling very, very close, as he's also going to bring Sansom into the battle as well, as currently side by side. Ahead of Sansom goes Wright just ahead of Ayres, but Ayres is going to try and take that position back, and all that's going to do is bring the cars of Van Gaal and Sansom into the battle behind.
Yeah, they definitely are here as well, and Sampson's going to get himself involved once more, as he has been the outstanding driver of the evening. He's had a great evening of racing so far as Colin Sampson, and now he's got his other arm confidant, his battle partner, Darrell Wright, pushing forward with a PBG. Now they come down for the long run down this start-finish straight. Pete Newman out in front by 1.8 seconds here, Stu. Great racing so far.
Exactly, but still very close behind Wright and Sansom trying to make moves, but up at the front, we've got Wright going past, just trying to make the move down into the first corner. It'll be interesting to see if he can make that stick, because it's not the easiest for PBG and Wright to make that work, but they're potentially going to be taken 3 wide if they're not careful, and I don't think that was quite going to happen just there. But we're still side by side, 2 groups of cars all trying to battle for position on a track that is not wide enough for all of them, I'm fairly certain. I don't think I've ever seen a 5 wide in a series. I don't want to today, that would be very good. Coming down here, we've got Darrell Wright still managing to just about keep it in here, and it's, to be fair, the rating's doing exactly what it did in the first 2 races and turning out to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Darrell Wright battling on, holding on from PBG with Tom Griffiths, who has just got past Colin Sampson there as well. So some great action through the pack. Around they go through Casanova Savelli, the left right-hander. Now Sampson's trying to make that move forward as well. He's trying to have a go at Tom Griffiths. It looks like PBG's gone off the side of the circuit. He has, but we jump on board with Colin Sampson now on that run round Arrabbiata 2 before they go into Scaperia. Here, the right-hander and then into Pelagio, the left-hander. Still some great action taking place, but we're on board with Colin Sampson now. Sampson's looked quick all evening here, Stu. I would be surprised if he gets into the top 3 by the end of this race.
No, I wouldn't either at all. He's been absolutely on form. As that is PVG going down the grid. I don't know what's happened there, but he's right to the back. I'm not sure what's happened there, but the timing's reporting he's dropped right off, and that looks like he's jumped back to the pits.
Yeah, PVG
Was
going
that a
off,
curb?
Yeah, off the side of the circuit here, or did he hit that sausage?
It's a curb.
It's a curb, and around he goes, and it's just going to be a torpedo into the barrier. And unfortunately for PVG, it's game over there as well. This is what he saw in the cockpit with PVG once again here. He just comes round the corner, hits the sausage curve, gets all out of shape. Now he's going into the barrier. Boom. And
Passenger at that point.
Yeah, it's hands off the wheel and hope it don't hurt. But Colin Sampson here with Darrell Wright is going to be making that move. Once again here, the Pro and Ams fighting it out. Colin Sampson's going to make it through. By the time they get into turn 1, is Tom Griffiths going to make it through as well. Sampson on the hard on the brakes. He goes around turn 1, takes that long wide line. He's going to have the inside for 2. Griffiths is nearly thinking about 3 wide. Sampson backs out. Griffiths is going to make it through up the inside of turn 2. Now round turn 3. Poggio Seiko here as well. And Griffiths builds up 1 position. Sampson loses 2 in the end. And that's all because he went in too deep into turn 1.
Exactly, they're all still side by side. Sansom, to be fair, has been performing exceptionally well here, but now I think he's just going to have to wait a little bit, let the 2 in front pull him along and just try and make that move towards the leaders again. And there's a potential for a podium if they all work together at this point, I think. It's not long left in the race. You've only got about 10-ish minutes left, just under 10 minutes. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they do going into this next section of the race.
Yeah, well, let's see. Here as well, 9:21 on the clock. They've got about another 4 laps of this Mugello circuit. Into Scarperia, there they go. Then into Pelagio, the left-hander. Round Scarperia, the right-hander. Darrell Wright's closing in now as well. Tom Griffiths is making the left-hander. He has got it through, but he's going to have the 2 battlers behind him. Steve Hefford trying to close up in the field as well. Looks like Sir Alan Toons had a bit of a moment, as he looks like he may have also had an incident. He is still running, but he's a long way back, is Alan Toon here as well. Looks like Darrell Wright's going to survive another run. If he can keep this gap down the front straight though, Stu, he will stay out in front.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got to try and hold that gap. I will say one thing. The one thing I like about Sir Alan Toon is he really doesn't mind where he is on track as long as he's having fun, I think. That's how it seems. And it's highly respectable from someone in racing, that's for certain.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Alan Toon, it's not about where he is. It's just about how much fun he's having, and generally he's got a smile on his face. Steve Hefford trying to close up to these guys. Sampson trying to take that inside line. Darrell Wright's on the outside. Sampson's got an option now. He either pushes Tom Griffiths in through the corner and sits in behind and hope he can get the run there, as we've got a disappearing Steve Hefford, who has just come back. Sampson does manage to hold on. Cullinan tucked up there as well. Hefford's gone up the inside. Round turn 3 he goes, and Hefford gains a position here as well. And still great racing taking place, even though we've got a very short field here this evening.
Yeah, exactly. The size of the field, at least these guys are proving, does not mean that the racing isn't close. Because at the end of the day, from what I can tell, all these guys are just a group of mates having an awesome race every single week, which is brilliant. And it's absolutely great to see, because you can tell that all of them have a hefty deal of respect for each other, because everyone gives each other room. Everyone knows exactly where the other person's going to brake or where they're going to go. And yeah, sometimes you get some sense, like there was also almost from Sansom there. It was close, but that's the point. It's a lot more fun when you know everyone you're racing with, that's for certain.
That's the thing. When it's your mates, you know who you can race against. It looks like Tom Griffiths may have just got a slowdown there as he loses the place to Cullinan. Darrell Wright's opened up an 8/10 of a gap here as these guys are off around Coranteo. Once more, the right-hander, the looping right-hander, almost 90 degrees as you're coming back on yourself. Hefford's going to go up the inside. He's going to make this through here, and currently Steve Hefford is now up into 4th place, a gain of 5 places already for Steve Hefford. Great action from him so far.
Yeah, exactly. Just absolutely respectful racing, because that's potentially going to be a try on a move by Sansom, just trying to find his way round. There's only one way round, and seems to have disappeared, but in doing so, he seems to have fallen back just slightly, and that's going to take him just a little bit closer to Cullinan, who is going to potentially get the run down the main straight here, as quite a few of them are, and it would be probably wise to not bump draft, because 3 in a train does not go, that's for certain. Currently, Sansom's just pulled alongside. He's going to try and take Heifer down into the first corner. Can he make it stick? I'm not entirely sure until we see where each driver takes their defensive positions. I mean, ahead, Road's also very close, so it's just a case of seeing who could break the latest, and that was very close from the group of cars here. And to be fair, again, it's just a case of waiting until you have the time, and they're doing that absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, they absolutely are here, and these 5 having a great little battle as the front 2 have broken away just a little bit. Siddon's about 7 seconds back. Tooney's had another bit of a moment. Pete Van Gaal's jumped back to the pits after coming out of the pits and going back off track again for Pete Van Gaal. So unfortunately for him, he's back in the pits after another incident. Tom Griffiths again trying to catch up on the rear. He's trying to keep up pace with Ralph Cullinan as they've got 2 laps remaining here, Stu. Who's gonna win this?
I think it's a incredibly close call. I think Newman and Ayres currently. Newman's just pulled enough of the gap that I think there's not much, barring mistakes, that anyone can really do to catch him. Same with Darrell Wright as well. I think the podium positions. Darrell Wright is holding just off the gap that I think he's probably got it over Heffern. But then again, all it takes is one mistake. That's been the case in many a league. And I think currently who's going to take it is Pete Newman. I think that's pretty much a cert on the win, but we'll have to wait and see because it's not long to go now.
Yeah, they've got this one. They've got 1 and 1 more here again as these guys are still going at it. Steve Peffert there once again. Unfortunately for Darrell Wright, looks like he's lost 3 places all in one go. And that is Darrell Wright out on the outside. Looks like he may have got a bit of a slowdown there, because Heffern's going to go through here, and then Cullinan's going to go through, and Sampson. So unfortunately for Darrell Wright, it looks like slow down plenty for him, unfortunately, as he loses them 3 places here as well. So still action to be had as we're on lap 6, 1 and 1 more to go. Let's see how they get on.
No, exactly. The slowdowns are the hardest things to avoid on any track. To be fair, as Sansom trying to make a move here on Hefford, they've been nose to tail the entirety of the race, and it's generally been this corner where it's had the most attrition with regards to moves, and Sansom potentially trying to make the move, but unfortunately I think Hefford's just able to break slightly later, and that's contact. Thankfully, they managed to break out of that as soon as they could, but that's given the opportunity around the outside, and around Samson potentially goes Griffiths. That was an amazing move around the outside.
Yeah, Pete Newman there looking like he's had contact. The gap has come down quite rapidly, and now unfortunately they are in this 2, 4, 6, 7 car train here as well, after losing quite a lot of time there for Pete Newman once again. So unfortunately for Pete, he is back in the pack here, and he's got to do it all over again.
Exactly, and this battle I think is going to go down to the wire, because this is effectively, so remember the fact of what I said about Pete Newman's basically wrapped this up, and people say a slight commentator's curse does not exist. I think it might, because that was, I don't know how that gap has dropped so far for Newman, but yeah, we're going to be back to a massive car battle again, I think. We're going to be back to the top 7, all battling out for a win, coming down to the final lap.
It is looking that way, to be fair. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be Jamie Ayres? Is it going to be Pete Newman, Hefford, Sampson, Griffiths or Cullinan, as we're going to be on that final lap this time around? Biondetta 1, Biondetta 2, down into Buccini, here the left-hander before they get onto that long straightaway, and then it's going to be this long straightaway for this final run here, Stu, as well, as these guys are battling it out fiercely in that front 7 here as well.
Exactly, and this will be coming onto the final lap of the race. It's currently a little bit further back. Griffiths trying to get past Sansom, trying to make the move around the outside, just doing a little bit of a duck and weave, an attempt to hold Sansom to that inside line, which I think is going to just about work. And they're all starting to try and battle, because at this point, you've really got, well, you've got everything and also nothing to lose. It's just a case of trying to finish the race, try and get in those positions on the final lap, as currently that's Griffiths trying to make the move around the outside of Sansom, not quite managing to do it in the first corner. The lead battle started to hot up as well. Jamie Ayres just behind the leader of Pete Newman. Pete Newman still just about trying to hold him off, but if they stay this close at the line, I wouldn't be surprised to see a massive tow down the main straight and potentially an overtake just before the line.
Yeah, well, let's see what Jamie Ayres can do on that run now into Casanova Savelli, the right and left-hander here. He's about 5 turns back. He needs to be closer than that. He's going to look at getting a run on Pete Newman around the final couple of corners. Ralph Cullinan with Colin Sampson. Sampson's right up behind Griffiths. Griffiths pushing on to Hepford. Hepford trying to get into Ayres, and Ayres is trying to get hold of Newman. He knows how close he needs to be, but it's whether or not he can be close enough. That's the thing here for Jamie Ayres, and whether or not he's going to be able to get close enough, as he's got about 4 corners remaining.
Yeah, exactly. Not long to do it, as that's into the gravel from Jamie Ayres. That's not going to help him versus Hefford. Hefford now has to really take advantage of that. And through goes Hefford onto the inside line, trying to make that move. And that was an absolutely masterfully made move, coming down towards the end of this lap, currently heading through Biondetti right now.
Yeah, now we're on board with Pete Newman, the man out in front. Who's going to get the places behind Jamie Ayres? Steve Hefford, Tom Griffiths, Colin Sansom, and Ralph Cullinan here as well. It looks like Pete Newman's going to wrap this up. He comes around that final corner. He is going to get the win. Who's going to get it further back? Here again, Pete Newman over the line. Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths swapping places. It's going to be Steve Hefford down the run here as well. Pete Newman makes it. Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres now as well. It is Jamie Ayres from Steve Hefford, from Tom Griffiths. There's Pete Newman. There's the collision. There's everybody into each other there as well. And now it's just Alan Toon. He's got to finish off, but it is Colin Sampson once again winning the AMS, and a great evening of racing for Colin now.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant racing from all as well, I think. It's a case of Sansom was very, very impressive in that one to win the AMS. Alan Toon bringing it back round. Hopefully able to bring it across the line, which would be lovely to see. But yeah, it's just, that was incredibly close racing as before. Incredibly good racing as well, because there were plenty of times where there could have been accidents, but there weren't. And it's lovely to see. That is for certain. Yeah,
definitely. And I think that's the thing when they're racing in pack racing like that. It's so easy for the front people to get into each other and have incidents. So it's great for them to get through all of this. As Alan Toon just comes over the line here for the final third, and we've got one more race to go, so let's see if anything goes a little bit better for Alan Toon next race around, as he takes the checkered flag here as well. We'll bring you up the results very, very shortly, and there you go. The results will be on the screen here momentarily when it decides that it wants to bring them up. But it is Pete Newman out in front by 2.1 seconds over Jamie Ayres, with Steve Hefford not far behind, and Tom Griffiths there as well. Colin Sampson crosses over in 5th. Ralph Cullinan 6th. Darrell Wright 7th. Fiona Siddons 8th. So Alan Toon 9th. And PVG down in 10th place there as well. A brief 5-minute warm-up here before we go into round 4. Let us know how it's been for you this evening as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the bells, because that will be amazing here. 4 minutes of warm-up though, Stu, and then one more race to do.
Exactly, and all that he's do is keep it exactly the same as the first 3, and that would be excellent, to be fair. It's been very, very good racing overall, and I think, to be fair, given the size of the grid, top racing all round.
Absolutely. It is top racing all round here as well, and they've done a great job battling it out as we go into race 4, the final race of the evening here as well, and it's going to be a very, very interesting scenario for these guys. Who's going to come out on top though, Stu? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, it is. I think in the last few races we've seen Newman doing pretty well. I think it is just a case of, it really is who is where on the track at any one point, and who gets that sort of luck of the draw coming down into that first corner, because the toe is pretty strong, that's for certain.
Yeah, definitely seems to be here as well as we're going into this fourth and final race here. Another great night of racing and great commentary again without Zach in the box, says Phil. It's a love-hate relationship between Phil and Zach Sweeney. I'm not sure who loves who and who hates who, to be honest. But they've got this love-hate, man-love relationship. So it's very interesting to see here as well as Phil gives Zach grief and he's not even here.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, Zach is great. I like Zach. He is good as well. But I think, I'm not sure where that starts and ends.
No, I'm worried too much trying to decipher it either, to be honest, because it will just get you into a bit of a mess. But let's see, 2.5 minutes to go before we go into the final race of the evening. Thanks so much for joining us here as well. Don't forget, guys, to hit that like bell. It will do help us out absolutely massively as we go forward as well. Building up, we've just broken 1,700 subscribers here as well, which is absolutely amazing for us here as well on this little old broadcast channel that we've got going on here as well. We're on 1,707. So, thank you so much for that one. Right. On to race 4. Minute and a half remaining here. And we'll see who comes out on top for this one. Stu, who do you think?
I think based on the performance last time, I would say probably Pete Newman if he can keep the race clean and just get through the front and just take it that way. I think that's probably the way it's going to be on that front. I would be impressed if Sansom didn't take the win again. But we will have to see, I'm sure, what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what happens. David Ayres, a fantastic evening, I think that's supposed to be of racing, with the added bonus of abusing James. Lovely jubbly. Well, there we go. And Colin Sampson, looking forward to watching the stream tomorrow even more than normal. Yes, Colin, you have had a great evening. My driver of the night, I would put you at, but maybe that's just me here as well. I'd definitely say he was probably part of the driver of the evening crew, wouldn't you there as well, Stu?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say he's just raced fantastically. I think that would be a fair assumption to put him on driver of the evening, yeah.
Yep. Right. 15 minutes to go, and the grid for the final race of the evening will be this. Pete Van Gaal on pole with Alan Toon in second, Fiona Siddons in third, Darrell Wright fourth, Ralph Cullen fifth, Colin Sampson sixth, Tom Griffiths seventh, Steve Hefford eighth, Jamie Ayres ninth, and Pete Newman down in 10th place. So let's see whether or not PVG can have somewhat of a better evening than what he's been having already. He's been having a bit of a rough one here as PVG, so let's see what he does this time around and whether or not he can get away at the start and get a victory under his belt. 5 lights are on, and now we're green, green, green. As Pete Van Gaal does get away here, so Alan Toon takes a very wide line on the left-hand side. Fiona Siddons is going to be looking at getting Sir Alan Toon before they get down to the line here. Siddons is not making it through at the moment. Tooney's still hanging on there. PVG trying to warm tyres as he's out in front there. Tooney's run that very wide line. Siddons is going to go through on the inside. I think everybody else is as well. Oh, Alan Toon, Alan Toon, Alan Toon. As he goes off track on lap 1 here, Stu.
Yeah, it's not the best to see, but I don't think he slammed the wall too hard, so that'll be one positive that comes out of that. It's still very, very close here at the front. That was potentially a little bit of a 3-wide back there behind, as someone's taking to the grass. I'm not too sure what that was. It might have been Ayres. The grass there.
Yeah,
currently very, very close.
Yeah, nothing on the timing to tell me that that's happened, but Pete Newman has moved up 2 places here and is now up into 7th, with Alan Toon, of course, making a mistake and then unfortunately going off. Fiona Siddons under attack from Ralph Cullinan. Pete Van Gaal looks like he's just made another mistake up front here as well, Stu. Again, battles commencing once more for race 4.
Yeah, absolutely. As Siddons just side by side currently with well coming up behind and side by side with Cullinan. This is currently a really good track by Siddons to be battling up ahead with Cullinan, trying to make that look down the inside, and that's opened the door for Sansom to try and make that move round technically the outside, which will soon become the inside of the next corner. That is potentially going to be a nice little move through the little bit of a kink on this track, and very, very close, but just about makes that stick to Sansom.
Definitely there as well. Colin Sanson holding on, Pete Newman and Tom Griffiths fighting it out farther back, and Jamie Ayres there as well. This could be an interesting fight here because these three are very similar on pace here, Stu. So it might be the fact that, these guys are going to be commencing battle here.
Yeah, absolutely is. There we go, seeing side by side. Siddons up ahead, just going side by side, slightly there with currently right with Sansom. Griffiths Ayres and Sansom just having a little bit of a battle back here as well. It's turning into a good battle, to be fair. I don't know where my brain's gone for a second there, James. Apologies.
That's all right. Mate, it happens to the best of us here. Happens to the best of us. Siddons has just lost a couple of places with Ayres and Griffiths. Newman trying to make that place as well. Back up front, PVG is hanging on from the Irishman of Ralph Cullinan with Colin Sampson, Darryl Wright, Jamie Ayres behind him, and Tom Griffiths. So some great action taking place there as well. It looks like Steve Hefford's been off the side of the circuit, and unfortunately there has had to come back on track. This is what happened to Steve Hefford. Going down here into Casanova Cervelli. Oh, there's contact with Darryl Wright. Wright gives him a little bit of a love bump, and unfortunately for Steve Hefford, he is gone around. So Steve Hefford dropping all the way back down the order there as well. So yeah, some great action, but unfortunate for Steve Hefford.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be too well for him, but it's just a case of trying to get this round to the finished hours, and potentially to go side by side with Ryan Ayres. Ayres taking that move straight ahead, and Wright just trying to get back behind. That's potentially going to be a little bit of an opening, but not quite, as I think that's Ayres safely taking that position.
Yeah, it definitely does look like it. Ayres has gone through. Now Pete Van Gogh, is he going to be able to hang on here? That's going to be the question. PVG looking like he's hanging on. Is he going to be hung on with Ralph Cullinan though, and Colin Sampson? If Sampson takes an overall win for the second time this evening, I wouldn't be surprised here.
No, exactly. And as I say, it's just a case of Sansom has been absolutely on fire at this track, to be fair. It's good to see as well. It's currently still very, very close, but they're coming around onto the straight, which is going to give Sansom and Cullinan that really nice little toe to potentially make a move on PVG at the front of the grid currently. As there goes the move around the outside. Cullinan trying to make that move down towards the first corner. PVG trying to defend, not quite managing to push far enough to the left to stop him from making that move, and Sansom is going to come to the right, I think. Coming down is the first corner, 3 wide. As PVG just getting shuffled back, I think, and Sansom. What a move by Sansom to take the lead. That is impressive.
Yeah, it definitely is. Colin Sampson there taking 2 places on that run down the start-finish line. He is out in front now as well. Cullinan's looking at going up the inside into turn 2. Round Poggio Seiko in turn 3 before they go into Matarazzi. Turn 4 with Ralph Cullinan now here again, holding on to this position. In through Matarazzi they go, round through Salorenzo, and then they're coming down on that short sharp straight into Casanova Cervelli here again through turn 6 and 7. Great action taking place from these guys, as there always has been all evening here, Stu, and to be fair, we've been served up a nice little treat of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Consider, as we said at the start, considering the size of the grid, it's been absolutely brilliant racing. And to be fair, I don't think it was ever really in doubt, to be fair, seeing the qualifying times that the drivers were setting. But it is brilliant to see as we're just currently getting into a little bit of sunset, which I do like. It's a nice time of the day, especially since these cars do look quite nice. But it will also mean that the temperatures are dropping very slightly. Not that there's too long left, but they will be dropping very slightly. And it will be interesting to see how drivers handle that as well.
Yeah, well, let's hope here again. As the temperature does drop a little bit, of course, and hopefully we will still continue to see it's 31 degrees on track, 29 degrees in air temperature here, and a great run at the moment for Colin Sampson, who's had a flyer of an evening. and he's been literally unstoppable here as well. Eddie overtaken outside of turn 1. Yes, Mr. Jacques Willems, we have seen it, and if you tune in and stay for this short, sharp run here, you might see it happening on your screen as we speak, Mr. Willems. So that's Jacques Willems from the IGP F3, who said that there wouldn't be many overtakes. There wouldn't be any overtakes in turn 1 on the F3 the other way, around the outside of turn 1. And there was, in fact, 2 all evening. So there we go, Jacques. I was right and you were wrong, as Colin Sanson has gone in way too deep, and he's just going to lose 3 places there. PVG's going to make it through with Jamie Ayres once more. Round the left-hander they go of Luco into Poggio Seco, and unfortunately for Colin Sampson, he's gone from 1st to 4th, and that was all over one simple mistake.
Yeah, exactly, and it's always how it is. One mistake, one bad move, and it immediately goes in. Whoa, that was a nice little cut across there in the lead. I think that was PVG just trying to defend the corner. Currently, Sansom is definitely his ways. There we go. JBS alongside PVG. Are they going to get round into the corner? Yes, they are. That might be a slowdown. I would be surprised if it wasn't. It's actually going to be incredibly close around the final corners, coming down in towards, not the final corners, apologies, coming down into those angry corners, and certainly people are definitely starting to get a lot more aggressive, it seems, into this part of the race.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're in race 4, final race of the evening here as well. It's go hard or go home currently, and Pete Van Gaal, Colin Sanson's worked his way back up. There was contact with Cullinan, and right now Newman's made the move past him. PVG hanging on from Sanson here with Ayres out in front. Round turn 12 they go into Biondetta 1, then into Biondetta 2, which is the left and right, before they go into Buccini, the turn 15. So great action so far from these little MX5s here, and still great action going into the final 3 laps here, Stu, of this evening's racing.
Exactly, and everyone's still neck and neck coming down into this final part of the race. Not long remaining at all now. We've only got, well, we've only got a few minutes left, about 7 minutes remaining just about. It's coming down towards 6 minutes now, final corner, and this is just going to turn into, again, it's just going to be a toe fest as they come down the main straight. All are going to be right on each other's bumper, and it remains to be seen who's going to make that move to try and send it into the first corner.
Well, let's find out. Doors left wide open. Ayres is going on the right. PVG's going up the middle. Sanson's squirming to get that MX5 stopped here. Ayres is now overtaking Pete Van Gaal. He's going to have the inside for turn 2. Sanson now holding up with Pete Newman. Newman's made his way through as well. Side-by-side action again. In through Poggio Seco they go. Down into Matarazzi. Into turn 5. Then San Lorenzo, turn 6 here. Now they're going to go left. Are they going to get this through too wide here as well? Ayres holding on. Now we've got a little bit of a short blast of a straight. That's now with Jamie Ayres and Colin Sanson. Into Casanova Savelli here as well. The left and right. Sanson's gone wide again. Newman's going to go through. Cullinan looks like he's making the most of it as well. And Sanson's driving a little bit aggressive here as well. And just unfortunately keeps making mistakes.
Yeah, might just need to just try and calm it down a little bit, as that was another one just going wide. And I think, to be fair, either he's pushed a little bit too hard on the tyres, I hope, which I doubt, because it's very difficult to get these tyres that warm in a Mazda. And yeah, it's currently side by side back there. I believe that was Cullinan and Samson really, really close on track, but it really is a case of Samson, I think, just needing to slow down just a little bit. Not on track, just in terms mentally. Of aggressiveness. Yeah, mentally just needs to, just a little bit, but he's currently trying to push back through now, I think. But yeah, that sort of, mentally chill.
Yeah.
Way to put it.
Yeah, I think so as well. Just mentally slow your brain down. He has got pace for days here this evening, Colin Sanson, as well. Yeah. Into Buccini we go for the start, what will be lap 6. We're going to have one more. Ayres has made a big mistake. He locked up. I think he was expecting Newman to come through. Newman did end up coming through here as well. Now they're going to go for it once again here as well. Bruno, nice clean racing, good battle. This is awesome. This awesome racing to watch. It is, and we've only got a 10 car field, Stuart Pearson. So great action from these guys as we've now got the front three battling out. PVG hugging the inside. Jamie Ayres going to the left. Is Newman going to try and put it out the middle? He is. They're going to be 3 wide round turn 1. How is this one going to work out? Are they all going to make it through? They are. Newman's running around the outside now as well. He's got to get up the inside of PVG into turn 2. They're still 3 wide. They're still 3 wide. They're still 3. Oh, almost made it 3 corners, 3 wide. Jack Williams, that's what you can do on turn 1 when it's respectful racing in 3 little MX5s, and they're still almost 3 wide again into Materazzi here before they go round San Lorenzo on this run down now into Casanova Cervelli. Great action here from these guys, and 3 minutes left on the clock. It's going to be this one and then the last lap, so let's see how the last lap goes here as well, Stu.
No, exactly. Pete Newman just trying to make his way towards PVG right now. Currently coming down towards Arrabbiata 1 and 2. And it's going to be close no matter how you look at this. And I'm pretty sure it's also going to be close whether we get this lap and 1 more to go as well. It's currently wide. I think that was Ayres just dipping the tyre into the gravel. And here comes Newman, potentially going to make a move. Is that a slowdown of the lead? That's contact. Not much contact, thankfully, and no one went round because of it. But that's given the opportunity right there for Ayres to take that line. And then Van Gool's just slowing down a little bit. Maybe there is a slowdown just there. And 3 wide again. Going down into the corner here. There's still 3 wide. And Sansom's making the move for 3rd place. Makes the move for 3rd place. Gets 3rd place. It is moving now swiftly towards 2nd. But there's still 3 wide in the background almost. This is turning into a proper final battle, and I am looking forward to seeing how the last lap turns out.
Yeah, so I do love Bruno in YouTube chat. And not a single Red Bull livery in sight. As we all know, the officials, when there's a Red Bull livery in the officials, stay away. Just stay away. It's Max Verstappen reincarnated in whoever is driving a Red Bull livery. But here we go. Now we're going to be coming over, starting the final lap of the race. Barney's going to be waving. We've still got these 7 cars going for it here. Now we've got the Pure Sims MX5 behind Jamie Ayres in the Momo. Sanson tucked in 3rd. Cullinan behind that. They're 3 wide with Cullinan to Griffith and Van Gool. Newman's trying to go round the outside again. He's looking at going round the outside again. He's running deep. That's going to allow Sanson to try and get the 2nd place away. Newman's going to have the inside line. Ayres gives him room to come back on track there as well. Griffiths gets the slide on. He's out of the action as they're going through now for the final time through Materazzi into San Lorenzo, and now we're down to 2-car fight with Ayres and Newman, but I'm not counting out Colin Sanson just yet.
No, absolutely. Sanson's been racing brilliantly, as we've been saying. But currently, Ayres and Newman are going to be neck and neck all the way to the line, I think, short of any issues. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if we get Newman making a move for the lead before the final corner. He has to get it done before the final corner, and that's a 3-car battle with Griffiths and Cullinan as well as right, I believe. But that's so close on track. The coming rounds. And that is just dropping back. Cullinan just behind Griffiths right now. And that's wide.
PVG has literally got his money's worth out of Mugello here this evening. He's seen every part of this circuit. Unfortunately for the Dutchman, now Ayres is going to try and stay with Pete Van Gool as they come round turn 12. Is he going to be able to get this through? Is he going to be able to get this done here? Is he going to be able to hold on? We've seen that run down this final straight. Very strong draft there. We've got Alan Toon stopped out on track as well for Tooney, so I'm a little bit confused why he is sat on the side of the circuit there. But let's pick up. Right, this is going to be the run. This is where Jamie Ayres is going to do it. Round the final corner, he's going to try and get a big as arc as possible, get a biggest slingshot as possible. I think he's too far back. I think he is too far back. I think it's going to be Pete Newman. Newman's going to come over the line. He's going to take this action here as well. Newman's going to win. Now we've got the battle behind him. He just crosses the line, Newman there as well. Right holds on. Griffiths and Cullinan. Oh, Griffiths just about got that one over Ralph Cullinan here as well. And some great action here again this evening. And I think you've got to admit, it's been absolutely epic racing here again. Look at the Cullinan Griffiths. Side by side, little bit of a gentle nudge from each other there. Now they're just running up to the line. Griffith is going to get it just about by an absolute hair's breadth. there as well. And that is nothing. Look at the size of that gap. That is literally incredible racing here as well. I was just waiting for Steve Hefford. Oh, hello.
I've also just noticed one incredible thing on the timing between Hefford and Cullinan. It says 0.004 on your timing. The actual timing page says 0. 0. On the dot, nothing. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, not quite sure how he got there. Not entirely sure what these guys are up to, apart from making wrecks out of each other. Pete Newman is your winner with Jamie Ayres here in second. Colin Sansom winning the AMs again. PVG in fourth. Darrell Wright fifth. Tom Griffith sixth. Ralph Cullinan in seventh. 2.6 seconds separates the top 7. That is incredible. Hefford in 8th, Siddons in 9th, and Sir Alan Toon 1 lap down here as well. Scott Barton, wow, that was entertaining. Awesome driving. Yeah, they've done an absolute incredible job here. Final words from you, Mr. Rice. What did you think of that one this evening?
I honestly thought it was just brilliant racing all round across the whole of all 4 races, to be fair. It's just genuinely really, really good. And Mugello proving again why it's a really good circuit as well, and why it probably should be in more officials, I have to say, because it's just, as much as it's a new track, they've done a really good job with it as well. Yeah,
they definitely have. And I think it was just people wanting to purchase the track, to be honest with you. I think that's the thing. And at the end of the day, that's what the situation is with iRacing. You have to buy the blinking track, and unfortunately I don't think a lot of people did, but we had great racing. Considering we only had 10 cars, that was probably entertaining as much as possible here as well, and I've never seen quite so close racing with such a small field, and everybody enjoyed it, and it's been absolutely amazing, and YouTube have as well. So thank you so much, David Ayres, for jumping in. Craig Jones earlier on as well. Scott Barton, don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells here, guys, as well, for more great racing. Jack Williams, Stuart Pearson, Bruno Abrantes is in the booth. I hope I said that right as well. Phil, thank you so much as always. I've thanked you, Craig. I don't need to do it again. Shadow Fox jumping in earlier on. Thank you so much for that one. But that's going to wrap out tonight's racing, guys. Don't forget, have a look on the JPB YouTube channel. There is shorts on there. There's live racing coming up tomorrow. We've got the GT4s here from Long Beach. And if you're going to want to watch any epic racing, you might as well watch the GT4s at Long Beach. Then we've got a triple header here as well. That's coming up once again on Thursday, as there's a lot of action taking place on Thursday as well. TSRC GT3's round 2, Kailami and ACC. Then we've got 8:30, it's the Evolution GT3's round 6 from Suzuka. And then at 10 to 9, if you want to watch epic racing as well, there is the Radical Race Series round 8 from Sebring. And then if you're a bit of a night owl, Friday at 1:15 a.m, we got the Triple Bypass Xfinity round 4 from Richmond. So that's what's coming up on the JPB YouTube channel this week. Thanks so much to all of you that have joined us. Much appreciated for that. Don't forget, leave a comment down below as well. That would be absolutely incredible. But thank you so much. That's going to bring tonight to an end. I've been James Parfitt alongside Stuart Rice in the booth up here once more. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.